Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Digital Motorsports YouTube channel and to the IDMC Autumn Season LMP2 and GT3 Series, the second round, live from the Temple of Speed. It is Monza, one of the greatest tracks on the planet. So, pleasure to be back once again. My name is Jack Canan, and as always, joining me should be Kevin Galvin. Unfortunately, he's off today. So, Niall Maher joins me in the commentary box this evening. Niall, how are you?
Great, Jack. I'm sure everyone listening is like, "Oh no, we're missing we're missing Kevin." But our thoughts go out to him because I know he's got some personal family things there. So yeah, I actually delighted to be back. I was literally at this track a couple of weeks ago. We're at the Boss GP Series. Of course, Paul O'Connell was there, one of our ambassadors. So quite familiar with this track and really looking forward to this round two of the especially to see the GT race. It was so close last time out, Jack, and it's great to have you back as well.
Yeah, pleasure to be back. It's been it's kind of a dry spell. I've really missed this championship, so looking forward to getting back into some multi-class stuff as well. As always, Ronan running the cameras this week as well. So let's see how he gets on with multi-class this time. It's very hectic behind the scenes. You can trust us. But as he mentioned, fantastic round last time out, and well, we have the standings ready to go in the background. So we'll show you the current championship standings as they are. Here's the LMP2 class, and it's Timo Hayden at the top on 100 points, Oscar Mangan in second on 80, and Josh Malin in P3 on 70 points. So Timo Hayden really his first race in the championship in Digital Motorsports as well, and right out of the mark with a 100-point score at the top. So he's looking really, really good in the early part of the season as well. And of course, it's multi-class, so GT3s are also here as well, and 1 hour races on each of these as well. But the GT3s, the GT3 standings, if we can, they will be at the top here. Rob Moore leads that one ahead of Luca Thingard on 80 points and Lucas Linkevich in P3 on 70 points. You can see there a really stacked grid in both parts right there, but Rob Moore leads at 100 and then of course 80 points for Luca Thingard. So plenty to keep our eyes on both sides of the standings. There is the current championship leader in the LMP2 class. It's Timo Hayden for Impulse Racing, and Timo, he's looking really, really quick in this early phase of the championship, but still a long, long way to go in this championship as well. And there's the championship leader in GT3s. No, he's been in Digital Motorsports for a long time, Rob Moore, finally at the top of a championship.
Absolutely, it's great to see so many new names coming through, and one of the big surprises, of course, from the first round was how many new names we've seen, but just how much people have come on in this championship. Of course, no Turn 3 Motorsports out this time. The guys are more focused on the sprint racing at the moment, and this form of, I guess you'd call it an endurance class, but it's not really, Jack. It wasn't to their liking, but to that point, now that we're looking at it, Jordan Kelly, I was just about to say, went fastest, but Timo Hayden has just pipped him there. So I'm expecting a really, really tight fought battle, and it'll be interesting to see how well the LMP3 cars are going to negotiate these GT cars, because that's going to be the biggest difference in speed, I think, for this whole championship will be at this track.
Yeah, managing traffic is going to be very key around his. Timo Hayden at the top, Jordan Kelly second, Harlis Yatautis P3, then Josh Malin and Kundalis, Alex Dunn there P6, then currently fastest in GT3 is Adis Staskevicius at the top by nearly 0.4 of a second over Luca Thingard and Rob Moore, with Ponomarenko in P4 there. So still plenty of time. It's a lone qualifying, so they have a couple of laps each to get their best laps in, but it's Hayden at the top right now by just about a tenth and a bit at the moment over Jordan Kelly, and in the LMP2 class as well. And Oscar Mangan needs a better time than that, 39.2 for him, so he hasn't put a representative one in just yet. There is Oscar. Of course, he's reigning champion from the V8 Supercar Series, and jumping over to multi-class now. He wasn't actually sure. I remember this interviewing him before this championship. He actually wasn't sure. He said he was going to take a break and then immediately hop back in because he couldn't resist a bit of multi-class. Could Oscar, and he goes to the top of the standings right on cue.
Absolutely. And look at that, Oscar Mangan back from Josh Malin. I'm just looking, Timo Hayden's put in the purple sector, but I think, oh, and as I say that, he's just gone second. So it's going to be such a close race. And looking in at the GT's class now as well, starting to take shape. As I said, I would assume that this track is better suited to the LMP2 class. But who knows, Jack? Who knows what's going to happen? Any predictions at this stage?
It's very hard to say because the gap between Oscar and Timo at the moment is a mere 6/1000ths of a second at the top. So they're basically completely evenly matched. Josh Malin's only a tenth and a bit back, and Dave Maguire up there in P4. And we know Dave, of course, carries the experience from the EDMC. Well, he's actually wearing the EDMC livery on that car for the Team Ireland livery. There you go. So Dave Maguire, of course, piloted this car in the European Championship. Oscar did as well, as did Jordan as well. So a lot of these guys have carried experience in this car. Now, unfortunately, that car did end up, I think, in the wall at the top of Eau Rouge, but he recovered very, very well in the end. So good to see that livery back out on the circuit as well, and still a bit of time left in qualifying. 6.5 minutes gone out of the 10 that is allotted. Still Staskevicius at the top of the GT3 class, but still some time. Dennis Hanley Jr. in P2 at the moment in that class. Dave Maguire across the start-finish line. He's still P4. He went very well in the Indy Pro Championship just a couple of seasons back, and is really on a good run of form. There is Dennis Hanley Jr. in the Porsche, just trying to hook a lap together. He's about a tenth and a half off of Staskevicius' time, so a bit of work to do, but still not too bad to start P2, especially in an hour-long race. Qualifying isn't everything. It's important, but it's really not everything. And of course, pit stop strategy is going to come into play here as well. But we know, of course, we've just spoke briefly with Dave Maguire's livery on the car, Niall. We've gone from European world is in progress, isn't it?
Yeah, big scoops. Always a guy for the big scoops, the big news scoops, Jack. But yeah, we're deep into the planning of holding the first Digital Motorsports World Cup. So stay tuned. What we'd love to see is the same level of engagement we had on the first round on YouTube. I'm just going to log in here and make sure that screen's open on my PC. But yeah, Jack, we'd love to have you along. November 28 is penciled in at the moment as the date, and details to come soon. But it will be an event to behold, to be sure. So I'm can't wait to get all the details out there. But we've 25, 30 people watching us online right now. Let me just jump in and see if we've got any questions or any comments that are coming up, because it is the long parade lap here, Jack. So we're gonna have to get a little bit of filler in while they get it down. So let me just check in on the chats and see how that's going.
Yeah, absolutely. Get your questions in. Anything that you want to know, please ask us. We can't say that we know everything, but we'll try. So just keep us entertained for the parade. I see
Lawrence is on there, and we've got Vintage and Luca and everyone. So Chris McCann's on as well. How's it going? So we'll see. We'll try and answer your questions as best we can. So keep those questions coming in.
Yeah, 1 minute of qualifying left, and it looks at the moment that Oscar Mangan is going to be that pole position member. That is a crazy tight qualifying over the top there. Mangan, Hayden, and Alex Dunn, who's up to third now in that car, and Josh Malin P4. So really stacked top four there in the top of the LMP2 class. As we're just waiting for the last few laps to come in. These guys won't get to finish their laps, of course, with about 30 seconds left. So it's still now going to be just a case of now resetting, getting ready for the race. But it will be an Oscar Mangan pole position in LMP2, and a Staskevicius with a pole in the GT3 class with Rob Moore on the front row with him. But that is a crazy tight qualifying. Mangan, Hayden, and Dunn separated by under half a tenth around this circuit, so really tight. And Josh Malin need about a tenth back in that one as well. It's really, really close across the field. 15 LMP2s at the front, and then I think 20 GT3s, about 35 cars on the grid from Monza. And this is going to be really there. Now, there it is. There's the qualifying. Mangan on pole for LMP2. Timo Hayden and Alex Dunn. 3/100 separate the three of them. Then Josh Malin, a 10th back in P4. Dave Maguire, Jordan Kelly, Kevin Finn, Haraldus Yatautas, Kundalis, Yamantis, McManus, Marchenkovic, Dowling, McCann, and Stack. And then you can see Adis Staskevicius in P16, but that is the pole for GT3 with Rob Moore second, Dennis Hanley Jr. in third, Vladimir Ponomarenko, then Luca Thingard, Wayne Douglas, Keith Stewart, then John McDonald, Neil Ferrier, Sergey Graben, Linus Petkovicius, Alek Vratniak, then Ledin Frzina in P28, and then I think there's just two more at the bottom of that GT3. It was actually way more than that. This is Kevin Shine, Andrew Chorostecki, Johnny McMullen, Shane Conley, Max Hart, Billy Hutchison, Ian Malone, Stuart Brereton, and Johnny McCarthy, who did not set a time. So 37 cars make it for this round at Monza. Traffic management is the two key words for this part. And, well, it's really going to be all about, as I said, getting through that traffic for the LMP2s especially, because as much as Monza is a really fast circuit, it is very, very difficult to get past traffic in the middle sector particularly. You talk about the chicanes, Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, you know, especially after those kind of early laps now, lap 2, lap 3, when the LMP2s start to catch up, it's going to be really tricky for them to make their way through.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see how this is going to pan out, because that is going to be the main challenge, I think, for the LMP drivers. Like when you think about, like just thinking of the top 10 on the grid, Jack, any one of them is more than capable of going out and winning this race, or indeed any iRace championship in top split. It is a class to be reckoned with, and I think it's going to be, the rules according to the driver's briefing is that it's up to the LMP drivers to navigate safely when passing GT3s. So in the past we had situations where we're telling the slower classes to make way. It's not the case anymore. So I just think with Monza suited to the LMP class with the higher speeds, I'd be surprised if we get through this whole race without one or two incidents.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable in the multi-class race, and that's it. That is how it works. It's up to the faster cars to make their way through past the GT3s. Well, the GT3s are going to be in their own race as well, so can't be expected for them to move out of the way. But I think when you start getting towards the kind of tail end of the race, you'll see them start to maybe make it a bit easier. But this early part is where the GT3s are going to be battling their own battle as well. As we're waiting for the race, we just want to say a big thank you to some of the people who make this broadcast possible. Of course, the ESC Gaming for their continued support, SimuCube as well for sponsoring this series as well, and the continued support from Motorsport Ireland as well, who help make this championship possible. So the drivers are in a quick warm-up right now before the race. Rolling start as well, a full parade lap we're going to have here at Monza, and then we will get underway for this one. So interesting to see how this is going to go. I think it's going to be a really, really tight battle between our top four, maybe even top five. You've got Mangan, you've got Hayden, who's leading the championship. Mangan's second in the championship as well, don't forget. So those two are already early title contenders. You've got Josh Malin right up there as well, and plenty of others there ready to go for this race as well. 2-minute warm-up, then we are in to the race. I'm not sure who to predict for this one. Niall, have you got any predictions as to who's going to take this one?
No, I'm not, and I'll tell you why. Because I've done that every single time, and I'm sure if I mention he who should not be mentioned somewhere, Nicky Meredith would fall off the chair. Oh, I've just gone and done it. but to that point, no, I don't actually. And joking aside, I think that this is the first IDMC that I'm genuinely surprised by how many. As I was saying, we've had new entrants who've come in. Of course, Timo has just come in and stuck it on pole last race and is here once again in the front row. But having said that, there are other drivers who have really improved. Not to name them, but it's obvious who's come up from kind of mid-pack. And then on the other side, Jack, there's drivers who I would have predicted would have been right up there at the front. So warm-up is over. We're now grading up for the but I just simply can't. I couldn't. Okay, I will, because I always do, Jack. I think Alex Dunn deserves a good race, especially after round one, and I'm going to go with putting Alex definitely in for a podium, if not the top spot, because I never like sitting on the fence. And I'm not sure. I still feel down in GT3s. I'm going to go Robert Moore again. There you go.
Right, there's the predictions. So if they go spinning off the road, you know who to blame. Here's the grid for the Monza round. Oscar Mangan on pole, then in LMP2, Timo Hayden next to him. Then it's Alex Dunn and Josh Malin, row 2. Dave Maguire, then Jordan Kelly, Kevin Finn and Harold Zietautis, then Arturas Kundalis and Arias Yamantis. Then we have Brian McManus, Valentinas Marchenkovic, Adam Dowling, and Peter McCann, with Tony Stack rounding out the LMP2s. On pole for GT3s, it's Adis Staskevicius, then Robert Moore and Dennis Hanley Jr. in P2 and P3. Then Vladimir Ponomarenko, P4, Luca Thingard, then Wayne Douglas and Keith Stewart. Then further down is John McDonald and Neil Ferrier, Sergei Graben and Linus Petkovicius, Alek Vorotniak and Eden Frzina, Kevin Shine, and then Andrew Chorostecki, Johnny McMullen and Shane Conley, Max Hart and Billy Hutchinson. Then to round it out, Ian Malone, Stuart Brereton, and Johnny McCarthy. So ready to go then. Shorter parade lap than first thought. They're just coming through Ascari now, and it's going to be all up to Oscar Mangan to control the pace down towards turn 1 once the safety car peels off to the right-hand side. So Oscar for Core Sim Racing, Timo Hayden for Impulse next to him, then Alex Dunn right behind the two of them there with Josh Malin. So it's really, really interesting to see these two, Oscar Mangan and Josh Malin. They fought so hard for the V8 supercar title. That amazing fight they had at Bathurst. Who can forget it? Let's hope we get another bit of that as well. Jordan Kelly, he's their P6. So there's three former champions up here at the front end. So really looking forward to seeing how this is going to end. But Timo Hayden, the new man in Digital Motorsports, who came out of the blocks with a win and a pole last time out. Let's see if he can go 2 in a row. Here comes the pace car. He's going to peel off to the right-hand side to begin this race at Monza. Pace car is off to the right-hand side. We are waiting for the green. It's all up to Oscar Mangan now to control the pace. The GT3s have gapped them already. Down towards the first corner. They will come in just a moment's time. The green flag drops. We are racing at Monza for round 2. Great start from Oscar Mangan, and immediately Alex Dunn to the inside of Timo Hayden down towards turn 1 for the first time of asking. Really starting to put the pressure on now. They all fan out. GT3s are underway behind as well. Down the inside, Alex Dunn already is going to be, maybe you can't say he's going to go for the lead, but he makes it through past Timo Hayden. He gets a little bit loose on the exit. Hayden takes it back again as they come through Curva Grande. Oh, we're going to call over, rolling in GT3s, huge one in GT3s in the background. Thankfully, the LMP2s are clean through. Oscar Mangan leads, Hayden second, Alex Dunn goes back down to third, Maguire up to P4 in front of Josh Malin. Really good start from the LMP2s, but there was a massive accident in GT3s back there just a few seconds ago, and they're all making to a really slow moment in the background. There's a couple of cars on the grass. Kevin Finn makes his way through. I think that was a slow car. It was Kundalis getting a bit slow and loose on the exit of that chicane, and that was Kevin Finn also making his way through past Jordan Kelly up a position there. But good start from the LMP2s. Kundalis again slow. McManus picks up the pieces there as Yamantis is going to follow him through in this multicolored LMP2 behind, and down towards Ascari again. Kundalis with a slowdown, it looks like, has to come in, it's tuck in behind the VRA cars in front of him there. So McManus up to P8. Really clean start from our LMP runners, and Mangan getting the great start. Now here's what happened in GT3, and oh dear, this is completely misjudged braking point. Stuart Brereton going straight into the back of one of the cars. I couldn't tell who it was, but unfortunately they end up rolling. Another car gets spun round in the end, but oh dear, that was a big one. But here's the GT3s. They're clean away at the front anyway. Staskevicius, Dennis Hanley, and Ponomarenko with a really rapid start. He's trying to get his way past Dennis Hanley Jr. here through Parabolica. Well, it's not Parabolica anymore. It's Curva Alboreto here in Monza. They're still side by side as they come down towards turn 1. You can see Ponomarenko with a nose in front down towards the first corner. Hanley is on the inside as they come down into the braking zone, but Ponomarenko is through into second place. Hanley looking to the inside. He's thinking about going up the inside, but no, he thinks better of it as they come into the braking zone, and he gets his way through as Douglas and Fingard fight it out for P5 as well. Douglas comes out in front there by the looks of it, and he does indeed. So Wayne Douglas up a place in front of Luca Thingard as well. Now at the front it is still Mangan Hayden, but by the looks of it, 2 positions lost for Alex Dunn. He's down to P5. Josh Malin third, Maguire in fourth. Yes, there it is. Alex Dunn down to P5 already. So it looked like a bit of an error from the young man there in the number 11 car as he comes over the crest there. Josh Malin, there he is in P3. Dave Maguire in that car behind. Oh, huge accident! That is for Arius Yamantis, who's gone flying off at Ascari. How is he still driving? The Yamantis is still driving. That might have been the biggest crash I've seen at Ascari in a long while. What on earth has just happened? Yamantis, he gets on the sausage curb and bounces off the tyre bale and somehow keeps it on the road and keeps driving. Heroic stuff for Yamantis with a sausage curb claiming him already. Really big one for Arius Yamantis there, but he's managed to get it back to the pit lane. Back to the front, Mangan with Hayden running away already. Josh Malin P3. Maguire's putting him under pressure actually, and looks like Malin actually got slowed down through the first chicane, and Dave Maguire moves his way through the third. Alex Dunn may be able to pick up the pieces as well. He's getting up to the second chicane now. Dunn moves to the inside. Can he get it done up the inside? Looking up the inside of Josh Malin, side by side they go over the curves. Malin, no, it's not quite enough, and Dunn ends up in the gravel, and Kevin Finn goes through after that little bit of side-on-side contact. No harm done really, just a very hard place to make an overtake through that part of the circuit, but good stuff from these guys nonetheless as they come through. Jordan Kelly with Brian McManus, 2 teammates together here in P7 and P8. Harold Tautas just behind them as well. So Jordan trying to make his way up past McManus there. Is a bit of a look from Dunn up the inside through Ascari, but couldn't quite make it. And Kevin Finn for Kairos competition running in P5. So good job from him. But you can see all the cars tucked in behind. Look at this, Jordan Kelly. Tautas looking for some space, and they're going to block the road here. Tautas can't choose where to go, and Jordan Kelly is going to make his way through. And it's going to be side by side between the teammates, and Jordan Kelly does make his way through. A little bit of fighting for space there. Look at this up the front. Timo Hayden bump drafting Oscar Mangan down the straight. Does not want to give up the slipstream that he's getting off of Oscar Mangan at the moment. Very mature driving from those two right there. And there goes Alex. Oh, that was very close in the back. There was a GT3 coming out of the pit lane into a field of LMP2s. And he manages this, all somehow managed to come out unscathed in that one. But Alex Dunn up a place in front of Kevin Finn now, and he can focus down. This is what they emerged into. Look at this. McManus, Kelly, Tautas and Kundalis still between the teammates, very close between the 2 VRA cars. Kelly hangs on in front of McManus. Tautas now under pressure from Arturas Kundalis, who's just behind him there. Yeah, of course, Kundalis had a bit of a slow start, so he's now down a position, or down a couple of places off the start. And just behind, you've got the other VRA cars of McCann and Dowling. They're not too far behind. You just see them in the background, shot through Lesmo 2. They're making their way through. Here is the battle for the lead of GT3. Staskevicius and Ponomarenko. You can see Ponomarenko really on a good charge right here. He's having to think about a look up the inside here. A little bit of the middle of the road defense here from Staskevicius. Still no way through for Ponomarenko just yet. Dennis Hanley running in third, Keith Stewart in fourth, Thingard and Rob Moore down to sixth now. So Rob Moore not having a good early few laps here, and still looking good for Staskevicius. He's led from the pole. Let's see if he can hang on to this one, but he's still got a lot of pressure behind from Ponomarenko. Now look at this down the straight. Hayden does not want to make the move. He could if he wanted to, but he wants that slipstream. They're working together to just get away and build a gap here, but these are 2 of the highest I ratings right here. Mangan and Hayden up at the front, and Timo just being very, very cautious here. Mangan just a little bit defensive up through that first chicane. Now they're starting to catch some traffic. So here's what we're going to see. As I was saying, look at the I ratings for Mangan and Hayden, both over 7K, and then Alex Dunn as well over 8K I rating, which is incredibly high. But these two are on another level almost. Between these two, Oscar Mangan and Timo Hayden. Dave Maguire really doing a great job in P3 at the moment in front of Josh Malin, but still only 7.5 minutes gone in this 1 hour long race. Mandatory pit stop, of course, as well. So make sure to keep an eye out for who's gonna box first, who's gonna be the one to go for the early stop. Will anyone go for the early stop? But really, really close between these two. Here is a replay. Yamantis, who's just, of course, he just took a fast repair after his monumental off through there, and to make it worse, loops it round at the first chicane. But thankfully doesn't get it beached on the sausage curbs and manages to get back going again. So Yamantis has been through the wars today, I tell you what. And really there was Johnny McMullen as well, taking a bit of an excursion off at the second chicane. Great to see so many of you in the YouTube chat as well. Make sure to get your let us know who you think's going to win. Well, right on cue, Timo Hayden's just taking the lead down towards turn 1. He's just made the move on Mangan, but Mangan is going to now maybe try and do what Hayden did to him and just stick in the slipstream down through Curva Grande. Timo Hayden hits the front in LMP2, and look at Mangan looking for the inside. Hayden was not having any of it, and he shuts the door on Oscar Mangan through Curva Grande. So that is a statement right there. He really did not, he made it very clear to Oscar Mangan he was not getting through on the inside through there. Have a look at this. Here's what the move, very easy. Timo Hayden making it stick on the brakes into the first chicane, went super deep. Oscar Mangan broke early, hit the apex and tried to get the run through Curva Grande. And now you'll see as well, Oscar Mangan going to try stick with him. Now they're hitting a lot of the GT3s. Now this is the tail end of the GT3 class that they are running into now, and now they've got to try and get through this. They've caught them in a decent place. Hayden has to really get out of it there. There's GT3 starting to battle in front of them now as they come up towards Curva Alboreto. Oscar Mangan absolutely tucked in the rear diffuser of Timo Hayden through Alboreto. They come, and they're going to have to get past some GT3s here. Thankfully, the GT3s help them out a little bit there and move to the inside. And Hayden gets to the pit wall immediately and just tucks into the slipstream of the cars in front. So Oscar Mangan goes to there. There's Dave Maguire now under pressure from Alex Dunn. Alex has caught up there. Josh Malin, sorry. It's Josh Malin trying to make his way back through. He's got traffic in front. And now you can see Malin going to try to get through the traffic at the same time. Round the outside of the GT3s as well. That is a fabulous move from Josh Malin, I must say, on the inside of Dave Maguire, and really fair from the GT3s as well to give him the space, but he makes the opportunistic move, and Josh Malin back up to P3 in this race ahead of Dave Maguire. Now, oh, look at the traffic now for Timo Hayden and Oscar Mangan up towards Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. They're really starting to get into the thick of it now. Through Lesmo 1 they come to get through a big chunk of it there, very wide for the both of them over the curbs through Lesmo 1. And now you can see he's just trying to look at this massive train they've got to get through now. There's about at least 5 GT3s up in now battling for position, and now Mangan going to try hit the front here. He's got the inside. Hayden lets him through on the outside. He wants him to make the moves here, as there is Sergey. You've got Frazina, John McDonald here. This is going to get really dicey as the LMP2s try to get their way through. Hayden's bump drafting Mangan past them on the outside. He's just given them a helping hand. They do get their way through, and Hayden going to try and make the move at the same time on the inside into Alboreto. Timo Hayden makes the move back again. That was clever stuff from the German. Bump drops him and makes his way through as they make their way past the traffic. That is great driving from both Oscar Mangan and Timo Hayden. Josh Malin makes his way through as well past all those GT3s, but now Mangan going to swap again down into the first chicane. And you can see now, you can see at the same time Maguire on Malin as well, but Mangan up the inside, Hayden has the inside for the second part. They leave each other racing room, and Mangan keeps it in on the outside through Curva Grande. They will come. Malin still in front, but Mangan has made the move, I think, through Curva Grande. Yes, he has. So Mangan hits the front again, but Timo Hayden now has the outside, but there's traffic. They're going to have to go either side of this one, I think maybe, but Mangan going to make his way through. Hayden's going to get a bit stuck here. Past through these Porsches they come. Mangan still in front at the end of that one as Malin and Maguire battle their way through the middle of this traffic as well. This is superb driving from everybody as they come through. LMP2 and Alex Dunn, you can see, making big inroads. He's there in the background behind Josh Malin. The car's directly behind him now. So it's Alex Dunn on the recovery here as they hit the front. But it's 2 by 2 nearly. It's Mangan and Hayden together. Then Maguire and Malin just behind them as they come through Ascari for the 8th time already. And Hayden now going to do his trademark bump draft. Oscar Mangan down into Alberto. This time he doesn't quite do it. He stays behind in that Impulse Racing LMP2. Mank gets a little bit caught up there by Rob Moore, who's running P5, and now Hayden's got out of Alberto. Now here comes bump draft from Timo Hayden down straight. You can see it's just giving him a little nudge, a little helping hand down towards turn 1, just helping his rival along here. He looks to the inside, thinks about a move on the inside, but doesn't quite do it. There's GT3s now just in the way. Dennis Hanley, P3 here. This is a move just further back. You can see this is going to be McManus on Kevin Finn. Can't quite do it. Finn really defends that very nicely through the first chicane there and stays in front in the Claros competition car. Back to the front though, Oscar Mangan, Timo Hayden still together, and then just in front now, this is a crucial one. It's now a 4-way battle. Look at this, it's Mangan, Hayden, then you've got Malin, Maguire and Dunn are all together. You can see that this is the lead battle in GT3 are in the way of these guys now as well. Look at this is what we wanted, multi-class action throughout. You can see they make their way through, Mangan gets his way through, Hayden makes his way through, they all make their way through. Sergio Maguire has to take to the grass to get past the car of Staskevicius there as they come down the straight, and now they're all together nearly at the front. It's allowed Josh Malin to get in the draft of Hayden and Oscar Mangan, and Maguire is also in the draft as well, as is Alex Dunn. Now the top 5 are all together at the front of the LMP2 class, which is brilliant. 15 minutes in, and you can see now Alex Dunn flashing the lights. He is letting Dave Maguire know that he is there and he is willing to fight. Gets a lot of understeer through and has to get on the power through that next part of this race as they come down the straight now. Big draft for Timo Hayden. He's in the draft. Think about a move. Does he go for the move? Malin's now showing himself and lunges up the inside of Dave Maguire as well. He gets the place on Maguire. There he is. He's got it stopped. He's got it done as they make their way through the first chicane. He has got the job done. Kevin Finn now, perhaps a cork in the bottle for the guys behind us. Now look at Josh Malin. He's tucked up underneath Timo Hayden, looking for the move here on the German. Josh Malin, can he make a move or will he stick behind? He will stick behind for now at the head of the field. 15 minutes gone in this 1 hour race. The top 5 in LMP2 are together and they've got some clean air for a little bit of time now. 26 seconds up to the back of Johnny McCarthy in the GT3 class. So really good stuff from the top guys here. As we look now, Sergey getting caught up in a big one with an LMP2. Unfortunately, getting caught up in that as well. Couple of cars getting caught up there in that one. I think that's Arturas Kondalis, by the looks of it, got caught up in that as well as Sergey. That's really unfortunate for those guys who not quite sure what happened there. So really good stuff from these guys up the front as they come down into Curva Alboreto. Timo Hayden still tucked up underneath Oscar Mangan here. Josh Malin really making a nuisance of himself there in P3 as more teamwork here between Jordan Kelly and Brian McManus, who are now trying to get past Kevin Finn, who's in P6 at the moment, with Dave Maguire just a ways up the road now. These guys trying to get clear here. Timo still tucking in behind. There's a big lunge. Josh Malin, both of them up the inside. He spins though. He loses the rear end for the lunge, and unfortunately he spins it out in turn 1. A really opportunistic lunge from Josh Malin didn't quite pay off. He almost made it work and unfortunately loops it around in turn 1, drops to P5. But really A+ for effort there, Josh, through turn 1. in the LMP2. But now it's back to Oscar Mang and Timo Hayden, but now Alex Dunn is the next man to try and get up to the back of these guys. So really really good stuff from these top guys. But don't count out Josh Malin. He may come into effect later on. He's still not too far off the back of these guys up at the head of the field. So now we go back to the craziness that is GT3 as well. Luca Thingard, who's in the thick of it now, battling away with Dennis Hanley Jr. trying to go for a third spot here. Really wide for Dennis Hanley. Switch back for Luca now, as now Rob Moore makes it 3 wide. He can't quite do it through Lesmo 1 there, but Thingard gets up the inside into third in GT3. Rob Moore trying to get through on the inside. As again a lunge up the inside again from Hanley, who looks up the inside of Thingard. He gets alongside now. Rob, does he make it 3 wide? He got out for Adam Dowling, who's trying to get through in an LMP2 here without causing too much trouble. He's hanging back here, is Adam. Fair play to Adam. He's hanging back and allowing them to battle in this race. Through Ascari they come again. Thingard's up the inside of Hanley, and he's got the job done just about this time through Ascari. So good job from the Danish driver there. As we look now, Jordan Kelly getting in front of Brian there, in front of Brian McManus. They swap around 2 VRA teammates, still not able to get past Kevin Finn at the moment. So good job from Kevin at the moment to keep these guys back. But he makes a mistake right on cue. He goes wide in the second part of the chicane, and through comes Jordan Kelly. Now he's got the outside for Curva Grande. Can he get it round the outside of Curva Grande? He's going to get the squeeze put on him by Kevin Finn here, but he leaves him room inside line for the second chicane. And Jordan Kelly, can he get it stopped on the brakes? Yes, he can, and gets through past Kevin Finn. McManus tries to follow through but can't do it. All it took was one mistake, and Jordan Kelly is now up to P6 in this race. As again, Dennis Hanley and Luca Thingard are still going at it here for third place. Rob Moore is hanging back. Wayne Douglas is in the middle of that as well. He's in a Porsche just behind Rob Moore's Porsche. Now through Curva Grande, Luca Thingard trying to hang off Dennis Hanley. Rob Moore trying to follow. Here comes Hanley. He's got the squeeze put on him by Thingard, but he has the inside. He has a car's width, and he's going to try and get through on the inside of the second chicane. But Thingard's so late on the brakes, but Hanley's got the run of the outside of the chicane. There's a little nudge from behind by Rob Moore, and Wayne Douglas doesn't need a second invitation for that. He makes his way up the inside through Lesmo 1, tries to get through on the inside of Lesmo 1, I should say. Around the outside, Rob Moore hangs on to it. Lesmo 2 for Wayne Douglas this time, and he hangs back and allows Rob Moore to hang on to that place there. No change up the front here. Mangan and Hayden now working together. They've stopped battling, and they're trying to gap Alex Dunn here. So they're now starting to gap Alex. 2.2 is the gap back to Alex Dunn, which it was at about 1.6 in this one. So not far, but so Alex Dunn very much still in the mix here, but Mangan and Hayden starting to work together now instead of battling it. They had a really hard battle for about a lap or two there, but good stuff from them. Josh Malin, by the way, has worked his way back up to the back of these guys. Here is the move that McManus made on Kevin Finn. Into the first chicane they come. And McManus, he didn't make a move actually, very nearly, but managed to hang on to a good save, Brian, through the first chicane. And now he gets back underway. But as I was saying, Josh Malin has actually caught back up to Dave Maguire. So it's all is not lost for Josh Malin. There's no damage at all on the car, thankfully. And he's worked his way back up to the back of Dave Maguire so he can have a second stab at it. He's still only about 4 seconds off the lead here. So it's still all is in play for Josh Malin. Still a mandatory pit stop for these guys up at in LMP2 and GT3, obviously. So still very, very good stuff from everybody. Still very close to the front of GT3 there. But Staskovic and Ponomarenko are still fighting for the race win there in GT3. They're 8 points. They're nearly 10 seconds clear of Dennis Hanley and Luca Thingard. That battle for third. But these two are just being very, very, let's say, mature about it up the front of the order in GT3. Josh Malin gets his way past Dave Maguire. So he's up to P4. There he goes, and he's now got 2 seconds to make up on Alex Dunn if he can. There's a big battle now. Kevin Finn going to go around the outside of Jordan Kelly. There's going to be a little bit of contact there. Jordan had to open the steering to let him through, and Kevin does get the move done fair and square, though. Great move from Kevin Finn, braving it out round the outside. And Jordan was very fair to just open the steering there. Oh, we got a car off in front there at the second chicane. GT3 that has just gone off the road there. I think they've managed to rejoin safely, and it is very quickly brought up by Ronan. It was Stuart Brereton who was had an off there at the second chicane and just got on the grass, and traction control kicks in, and round he went in that second chicane. Now, before Dave Maguire with a big dive, one of the GT3s there as well, and makes his way through safely. But now you can see these two at the front of GT3, Ada Staskevicius and Vladimir Ponomarenko in second place. Ponomarenko at the wheel of an Impulse car as well. So there's an Impulse car in P2, in GT3 and in LMP2. But I wonder for how much longer. Timo Hayden still biding his time behind Oscar Mangan, being very, very patient behind the Core Sim Racing car, and does not want to make a move here. He wants to stick behind in the draft. Alex Dunn, though, is making some ground. Here comes Timo Hayden, though. Now he fancies the move. Timo Hayden to the inside of the first chicane, and is now... Oscar Mangan does not put up a fight there, and he gets it stopped for the first chicane. So Timo Hayden back to the lead, and oh, he's going to get tapped around! Oh, they get caught up in traffic! It's all gone wrong. Alex Dunn goes through the middle, and Alex Dunn leads here at Monza. Timo Hayden getting a little tap from a GT3 to the middle of the chicane, and Alex Dunn leads. Josh Malin second, and Timo Hayden now up to third. Dave Maguire to fourth. Mangan drops to 50, got caught up in the middle there. That is exactly what we thought might happen. Alex Dunn to the front, Josh Malin second, Timo Hayden to third, Dave Maguire fourth, Oscar Mangan dropping 1.7 back to P5. All of a sudden it's all flipped on its head, but Timo survives to fight another day in P3. Not what he needed. Got a slight tap from a GT3 to the middle of the first chicane, and that was all it took. And unfortunately Oscar got caught up. He was actually the one that was most affected. He's out of the draft now. That's not what he wanted. Let's have a look at this again from that, and oh, that was so lucky from Josh Malin not to get caught up by that GT3, and he makes his way past Timo through the middle of that. So they go back to the way they were, but Alex Dunn now leads. Josh Malin second, but this is now really hot. It's really heated up the fight, and unfortunately Oscar, I think, may be carrying damage because he's really starting to drop off here in P5, and that is really unfortunate for Oscar. Seriously, he was I think he's unfortunately got caught up in the damage, and completely innocent in the middle of that, and unfortunately picks up aero damage by the looks of it, and he's going to now struggle outside of the draft. But now here comes the battle. Josh Malin on Alex Dunn, and Josh Malin goes to the lead here at Monza, and Timo Hayden going to be very, very patient behind. There's a big slide from Dave Maguire in the middle of the corner. He hangs on to it, and now here we go. The battle was going to rage on here. Alex Dunn with a good run out of the first chicane. Here comes Alex Dunn through Curva Grande. He's going to bump draft Josh Malin through Curva Grande. And now that is how close it is. He looks to the inside for the second chicane. Alex Dunn braving it on the brakes. Malin leaves some space, and Dunn goes through and manages to hang off Timo Hayden, who gives the run now for Dave Maguire, but he hangs back. And now GT3 traffic going to play its part as well. Alex makes his way through. Malin goes through. Hayden goes through. Maguire as well. But it gets worse unfortunately for Oscar Mangan. 4.2 off the back now. That is not what he needed in his chase of the title as well, as he unfortunately picks up damage from the contact up through Ascari. They'll come again, but it's young Alex Dunn at the front, Josh Malin second, Timo Hayden third, and Dave Maguire really punching above his weight here up in P4 in that car. And now you can see Jordan Kelly pass Kevin Finn for the second time, I think, in this race, as they start to make inroads. That GT3 unfortunately caught the sausage curve, and unfortunately Kevin Finn completely innocently gets caught up in that one as well. That GT3 just got airborne over the curb, and unfortunately Kevin has now, I think, maybe picked up some damage, and yeah, he has suspension damage for Kevin Finn. That is the unluckiest thing. Clout of that curb, and a big impact for Kevin Finn in the rear. And that is basically a carbon copy of what just happened to Oscar without the airborne GT3. Kevin's going to have to crawl back to pit lane now and get a fast repair done on that car. So now it's starting to take effect. The multi-class racing. It's so unfortunate what just happened there. But Josh Malin putting pressure on Alex Dunn as traffic starting to come effect. This is the battle for third in GT3. They're making their way through now, as Hayden has a little think about a move up the inside, but decides against it. and they've got to try and make their way past these guys. This is Dennis Hanley. They're making their way through now. Luca Thingard just in front. He's going to hopefully not make it too difficult for the LMP2s here to make their way through, and he does make his way through cleanly here as, Timo, as he has to get a little bit awkwardly offline there to make his way through. And now has to get in the draft of the cars in front. Dave Maguire making a nuisance of himself behind as well. Just P4. Oscar continuing to drop further back, 6.9. He drops back to, as he's falling into the clutches of the VRA guys of Kelly and McManus. Just behind, almost halfway through this race. Now we're starting to get into pit stop territory as you can see a little look to the inside from Josh Malin. Two guys with plenty of real life experience here. Alex Dunn, he's competed in ADAC F4, German F4, that is Josh Malin, Porsche Carrera Cup GB. And Timo, of course, very accomplished sim racer here at the front of the LMP2 field. Here comes Josh Malin. Looks at these Mangan pits, by the way, into pit lane. Here comes Josh Malin up the inside. Alex allows him through. No hassle, really, from him there, and he allows him to take to the front. But Oscar Mangan into pit lane at the back of the field. So he's going to have to take a fast repair and a pit stop. But let's see. Will this early pit stop work for him? He may have to fuel save to the end now, so it may not quite work out. As Alex Dunn gonna look up the inside again on Josh Malin. Josh gonna have to let him through here, and he does make his way through. So fair race between the lot of them as Alex makes his way through past the leading GT3s here, and they find the gap through past Ponomarenko. That actually costs Vladimir quite a lot of time there, as not going to be quite a gap there for Timo, but he gets the exit thankfully for him and gets his way through past the leading GT3s through Lesmo 2. Some good stuff from the leading LMP2 classes. So through, this is a replay of Johnny McCarthy, and again he clouts the sausage curb. So those sausage curbs are really playing havoc with the drivers. And I think he's damaged the car quite a lot there by hitting that sausage curb, and has to tow back to pit lane, Johnny McCarthy. So we've had cars flying across those sausage curbs, and now Alex Dunn very wide through Curve Alboreto there, and that's going to give Josh Malin a humongous run down towards turn one. This should be relatively easy for Josh. He makes the inside, he finds the inside, he's alongside, and he'll be in front before they even get to the corner. So Josh Malin back to the front of LMP2, and he hangs on for now. It's kind of calm down up at the front here at LMP2. They're kind of just starting to try and make a gap, or try to, before they make their pit stops. It's all going to be a case now of who gets through the traffic the best. We're at the halfway point of this race now as well, and as the guys start to make their way through as well, we would of course like to say a quick thank you to the sponsors that make this championship possible, which is of course Simucube, ESE and Motorsport Ireland. We'll be back in just a few moments.
They say that perfection doesn't exist in this game. Most players just don't have it in them. But those who dare to seek it might catch excellence. And that sounds perfect to me. So, I'm done playing. Let's drive.
Are you looking to get involved in sim racing or to upgrade your existing sim equipment? Digital-Motorsports.com are the world's leading one-stop sim racing shop. We stock everything from wheels, pedals, PCs, cockpits, right through to fully built custom turnkey sim solutions built to meet your specific requirements. We're official distributors for the best brands including SimLab, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, Cube Controls, Husingveld, SimiCube, SimTag, Next Level Racing, Grid Engineering and many more. We offer fast, reliable worldwide shipping via DHL, and we also run some of the most competitive online racing leagues in the world. Check out digitalmotorsports.com today.
And welcome back to Monza, and obviously a big thank you to all the sponsors that make everything possible. So while that's been happening now, pit stops on cue. Alex Dunn leads Josh Mayland, leads Dave Maguire into pit lane. Timo Hayden taking an early stop and coming in a lap earlier for an undercut. Let's see if it works for these guys here, but very tight into pit lane as they come through here. So Jordan Kelly will take the lead momentarily as they come in. But you can see they're vying for every inch there. Alex Dunn and Josh Mayland into the pit lane right there. Kelly and Yatautis. But the key now, where does Timo Hayden come out in all of this? He is in P10. He took an early stop and he's on his way down into Curva Alboreto now in this race. He's taken an early stop. Oscar Mangan, that shows you how much the damage cost him. 10 seconds out behind of Timo Hayden. So here they come now. Timo on his way down. Alex Dunn on his way out of the pit lane now as they head down. This is going to be very, very close. Has it worked for Timo down into turn one? Yes, it will. And he's going to have the overspeed down towards turn one. There is Timo on the outside. Timo Hayden's going to jump all of them with an undercut. And Timo Hayden gets in front of them on pit strategy and leads in front of Alex Dunn, in front of Josh Mayland. Dave Maguire had a really poor pit stop there and comes out in about P7. Just a second and a bit in front of Oscar Mangan. So a poor pit stop from Dave Maguire. He gets caught up behind GT3s as well for that, as for his sins as well. Down towards the next corner now, but it's now Timo Hayden at the front. Alex Dunn second. Josh Mayland now third. And Oscar Mangan back on the charge, passing Dave Maguire on the inside into the second chicane. Gets it stopped, gets it done, and he moves it up a place. So, Dave Maguire gets all out of shape as well on the curb through the middle of that. So, brilliant job by Timo Hayden to get out in front. Here's the lead. These guys have been completely inseparable for the whole race so far. Staskivicis and Ponomarenko, but they haven't swapped places once. So now, when do they pit? The GT3s can go a lot longer on field than the LMP2s can. So, it's going to be a case of who can do it. Kelly and Yatautis into pit lane for their stops as well. Jordan was leading, of course, so he's going to drop back at the end of that as Adam Dowling is going to come into pit lane as well on the inside as the GT3 leaders pass him as well. Down into the pit lane he comes. So Jordan Kelly, Yatautis, Dowling all into pit lane, so that will leave Timo Hayden, Alex Dunn and Josh Mayland to take the top three places at the front of LMP2. And Jordan might be able to get himself a cheeky position here on his way down into the next corner. He might be able to come out. It's going to be tight with Oscar Mangum. Oscar's going to get him, as well as Dave Maguire, but he's really worked his way kind of into that battle. Has Jordan Kelly at the end of that. He's going to try get out in front of that car on the outside. That is Wayne Douglas in the Gulf livery Porsche. That is just making his way through there. But Oscar Mangan P4 now works his way back to fourth. Great job from Oscar to get back up after the damage. And Josh Mayland now 8.3 seconds up the road from him. And you can see the pit laps there on the right-hand side of the overlay. Lap 17 for Oscar. Lap 19 for Timo with the undercut. And Alex Dunn and Josh pitting on the same lap in that one as well. But Timo is at the front, hits the front 25. We're almost over halfway through. So still plenty of time, 25 minutes in this race to go, but it's Timo versus Alex at the moment for the win. Josh Mayland 3.3 off the back, so hasn't quite worked. He's getting caught up behind that traffic, which is not helping his cause. He's caught up behind the lead GT3s at the front here, so unfortunately he's going to have to work hard to get this one. But Alex Dunn did do well to come out just behind Timo there. A very powerful undercut by Timo through that first part of the Curva Alboreto, through that second part of the race. So be interested to see who needs to save fuel, who doesn't, So Arturas Cundless on the back of Peter McCann. Now Dave Maguire's had to come into pit lane again. I think he's got damage. So Dave Maguire has damaged the car, I reckon, when he hit that curb through the second chicane. So it is really not a good day for Dave Maguire. What was a great day is not going well for Dave. So now he's got a lot of work to do to get back from there. It's going to take a monumental effort from Dave Maguire to get back to where he was. So really intriguing stuff from him through there. So looking at the here now, you can see Peter McCann under pressure from Arturas through the first part of the chicane. David Maguire kind of get caught up in the middle of that. He had to take a fast repair, came straight down pit lane, and is now going to have to make his way through past these two if he can. I know there's been questions in the chat for who's the youngest driver in both classes, and well, we know that I think it's tight between Arius Yamantis and Alex Dunn for the youngest driver in LMP2. I believe Alex is 15, 16. Arius is quite close to that as well. We definitely know who's the youngest in GT3 with Ben McClockery, who I think, off the top of my head, is 9 years old. So he is a brave young lad to be out here in this contingent out here as well. He's a race winner. Pro-Am won it just a couple of seasons ago. So there you go. Do not discount the youth. They are the future. Timo Hayden and Alex Dunn at the front of this one. Between this two now. First stops also in GT3. Staskovicius has decided to come in from the lead and give up track position. So Vladimir Ponomarenko can now try and get away from the leader. So now this is the first stops for GT3. Staskovicius and Dennis Hanley are the first in GT3s at the head of the GT3 field, I should say, to make some pit stops. So Ponomarenko, Douglas goes to second, and we will see now Dave Maguire getting past Arturas Cundless in towards the first corner, and you can see on the pit graphic, very early stop for Arturas Cundless. We'll be interested to see if he's going to be actually able to make it on field at the end. As a battle now, Ian Malone on Alec Vorotniak, and Ian gets his way through past, well, he's trying to make his way through, not able to quite do it on that occasion, and Vorotniak is managing to hang on to that position for now. But look at the front, Timo Hayden and Alex Dunn absolutely glued together. Alex Dunn is sticking with Timo at the front from this one. Through Alboreto they come. Alex Dunn desperate to get a result after last time out, and he really has a shot at the win if he can possibly do it, but he's got a very tough customer in front of him now. Here comes Alex Dunn. He's going to go for the overtake with the GT3 traffic. Very clever from Alex Dunn. It's going to get tight for abreast momentarily. Coulter Hayden the road has to take to the escape road, and they still come out side by side. Very scary moment for Timo Hayden. Flashes the lights. He's not happy in the slightest, but Alex Dunn now leads the race. Whoa! 4 abreast through turn 1, up the middle. Determination from him there. Timo, I think, got a tap as they came into the braking zone. He had to cut across the escape road, and now it's Alex Dunn at the head of the field in this race. Superb, absolutely superb at the front of them. We're going to definitely need a replay of that. Up the middle they come. There was a tap, and the GT3 got into the back of Timo there, and that is so unfortunate from Timo there. He wasn't happy from there. It wasn't Alex at all. Alex made it cleanly, but Timo unfortunately got a little tap from the GT3 behind him, and he had to make the... That is a brilliant overtake from Alex Dunn. So clever to get the GT3 traffic in the way of Timo. Makes the space, makes it 4 abreast, and gets his way through on the inside for turn number 1. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. As now move Dennis Hanley on Luca Thingard up the inside for turn 1. These two have been battling it out for the entire race for 3rd place. And Dennis now going to try and get it stopped on the brakes. Thingard super late on the brakes for turn 1. He's going to sweep it around the outside through the second part of the chicane. And he does hang on. Lovely race in between those two guys there. At the front, Staskevicius has come out in P2, but Ponomarenko has not stopped yet up at the front. He's staying out for longer and trying to get an overcut to work here at the front. So let's see if that strategy is going to pay off for Ponomarenko at the head of the GT3. Brilliant racing all across the field, and as we speak, Oscar Mangan is making inroads, 6.5 off the back of Josh Mellon. Last time we checked in with him, that gap was about 8 seconds. So that was brilliant. That's brilliant drive from Oscar Mangan. But at the same time, Jordan Kelly is not far off him. A second off the back of Mangan. There is Jordan. Just behind him, so working his way through. And of course, Jordan has stopped later than anybody up in the top 5. So top 5 result for Jordan would certainly be a great result for him if he can hang on, as Ponomarenko has stopped. Now, what's the gap going to be to Staskevicius is the question. As they come down pit road, Ponomarenko trying to hang on to the race lead. He's trying to make an overcut strategy work for him. Staskevicius, where is he? There he is as they come down the straight, and that is a humongous overcut from Ponomarenko. Look at that. That is a brilliant strategy call from Vladimir Ponomarenko, and he comes out nearly 3 to 4 seconds out in front of Ada Staskevicius and making the overcut in GT3 work. Round of applause. Brilliant job from Vladimir Ponomarenko, and he knew he could stay out. He pushed it. He probably saved fuel earlier on, pushed and got out in front by 3.5 seconds with an overcut. That was a great strategy call as they come through. Now this is Aidan Frzina in Lesmo 1, as he's going to just loop it round, very, very slow spin. The traction control just kicking in about halfway through the corner, and then he has the awkward job of trying to get it back facing the right way. And now, again, this battle continues. Oscar Mangan trying to get through on the inside of both of them. Luca Thingard and Dennis Hanley still fighting for the podium, and Rob Moore still there. This has been a great race-long fight between these two, and very, very fair from the both of them. Unfortunately, now Jordan Kelly's going to get caught behind them in the wrong place and loses the gap he just had to Oscar. And through he goes on the inside. But Luca Thingard, also a newcomer to this championship. Only his second round in Digital Motorsports, but on for a good result here in GT3 as they come through this middle sector up towards the braking zone. Handley looks to the inside, can't quite make his way through. And Rob Moore just trying to make his way past these guys here. But according to that graphic, Rob is definitely not going to make it on fuel. But well, it's very, very interesting the different pit stop strategies they've gone with there. Actually, they should be okay to the end. It's going to be very tight. They made a very early pit stop. There isn't a pit window, so they can pit quite early. And but they've, despite all the pit stops, they still come out nose to tail. And Dennis Handley now has a run on Luca here down towards turn 1. Will he have a look? He's got the run, and he's going to look for the outside. He can't get it, though. A little bit of a check up there. He has to move to the inside again. And Rob Moore is just trying to be safe here, but a big look up the inside, very late on the brakes from Dennis Hanley, and he has the inside for the second part of the chicane. Thingard looks to the outside, contact! And Thingard ends up in the gravel in that second part of the chicane. Gets back going again. That was a little bit of unfortunate contact. And Thingard, such a great battle, but unfortunately now drops back. And Dennis Hanley now goes to that back of the pack right there. Just that was happening. The exact same moment that contact happened, Timo Hayden is now in the lead of this race. And I think right on cue there, this is Timo at the front of the field. And I think Alex Dunn made an error. There he is, just locking up in the second chicane. And that was all it took. And Timo Hayden is back in the lead here at Monza. So that is a costly error from Alex Dunn in the second part of the chicane. You'll just see the puff of smoke, and he goes off to the escape rod on the inside. So now it's all up to Alex Dunn to do the chasing again. 2.5 seconds the gap is now up at the front of the field. So now Timo Hayden, it's his to lose at the head of the field on that with a 45-minute gap. 15 minutes left in this race. And Alex Dunn makes a crucial error and gives Timo Hayden back the race lead in Monza. And as we continue this race, Oscar Mangan is making big inroads. As I think Alex made another error. 4.4 is going up rapidly now. Another mistake from Alex Dunn. The gap is 4.6 seconds just behind. And Josh Malin is absolutely on him just behind. Oscar Mangan 2.6 off the back of that battle as well. So Timo's now in full control of this race by the looks of it. And this is not what he needed. Look at this. Alex Dunn under a lot of pressure from Josh Malin. As they come through the next part of the Lesmos, it seems that Alex may be carrying some damage or possibly made a second mistake in this race. And he's in the slipstream of the car in front. And there is Oscar Mangan. He's really closed up. And imagine if he didn't have the damage, what a fight would have happened. Now Timo's got a 5-second lead at the head of the field. So this is exactly what Timo wanted. He's been in the wars today, so all he's hoping is that he doesn't get caught up in another incident. He's been sent around by a GT3 on 2 occasions. As they come back here again, these guys still fighting. Rob Moore and Dennis Hanley still fighting for 3rd place. But you can see Arturas Cunillas in the LMP2 getting past the front of this part of the field. And Alex Dunn, yeah, he does have damage. Alex Dunn is into the pit lane. So that puts an end to Alex Dunn's charge at the head of the field. And he's now going to have to work his way back through if he can. So really unfortunate for Alex Dunn. What a great fight. But Timo Hayden is back in control at the front. Josh Malin in 2nd. And Oscar Mangan back on the podium. 3rd place for Oscar Mangan for now, if he can keep this up. But this battle for 3rd place, really a great showing from the GT3s. They've been completely inseparable for the entire race distance so far. And as we say this, Ada Staskevicius has closed the gap to Vladimir Ponomarenko to 1.7 seconds. So he's starting to make inroads. So that battle for the race lead in GT3 is certainly not done at the head of the field. You can see that he's visibly making charges on him. You can see, look at that. Look at how much he's catching. A second a lap for Staskevicius. Really good job from Adas to really make inroads there. This is Alex Dunn, after just coming out of pit lane, making his way through, getting caught behind. That's Ian Maloney, got caught behind there just briefly. And he's now, unfortunately, he had to take a fast repair and come into pit lane. Drops down to P7. So unfortunate for him. But Timo Hayden now 4.6 seconds clear at the front of the field. And he's now on his way potentially to a 2nd victory in a row. And not without its trials and tribulations throughout the race. But you can see Josh Malin is lapping quicker than him behind, but not enough to catch at the moment. Josh Malin, he's running P2 with Oscar P3. These two have been in the wars as well, particularly Oscar Mangan getting caught up in the incident with Timo on lap 1 as further back. This is Neil Ferrier and Keith Stewart who are battling for position. This is going to get very dicey 3 wide down towards Ascari. They're, I think, lapping a car there on the inside line. It gets out of the way for them. But Neil Ferrier is trying to get past Keith Stewart for 7th in class. And they are fighting it out for that top 10 position, which they'll be very happy with. But back to Jordan, who is running in P4. He'll be very happy with P4, I reckon, as will Brian. This will be a great result for VRA with Josh in P2, P4 for Jordan, and P5 for Brian. So really good showing from Jordan and from Brian and from Josh throughout as well. Peter McCann also inside the top 10 as well, down in P10. There he is, running a very quiet race is Peter McCann. Adam Dowling 12 seconds behind him in P11. So really good showing from the VRA team today from these couple of guys. So still about 10 minutes to go, and these guys are still not done. Rob Moore and Dennis Hanley. Rob is P3. He's the championship leader, don't forget, in GT3. And Dennis Hanley is still not done with them. Up the inside they go again. These guys must be sweating really hard as Dennis Hanley goes through up to P3 now. Back again. So swapping around.
And all of this is allowing Luca Thingard to close up again in P5. Remember, he got sent around in the first chicane, got punted off the road, and is now back in the fight for the podium all of a sudden, because these guys have been fighting so hard again. Rob Moore to the outside of Ascari. Surely he can't make that work. Dennis Hanley's there. No, he can't make it work, and that's just allowed Thingard to close in even more. So now he's firmly in the battle for third, as the gap between the leaders is now 1.4. So steady gains for Staskevicius at the front as they start to weave, try to break the toe down the front straight into Curva Alboreto. Very wide there from Rob Moore, made a slight error. Gives the opportunity that Lucas Thingard needs to get up the inside and up to P4. That gives a little bit of breathing space to Dennis Hanley, who's now just trying to break the toe down the front straight into the first chicane. Still no way through for Rob Moore. He's got the run, he's got a great run down towards turn 1, but isn't quite there to lunge it up the inside. But Thingard's got a second opportunity to go for third place now in this fantastic, fantastic battle that's gone race long in GT3s. There's Josh Malin. He's now brought the gap down to 4 seconds to Timo. 37.3 for Timo, and Josh a 36.4. That is nearly a second taken out by Josh as Arias Imantas makes a mistake on the brakes, and instead of going into the back of Timo, does the very, very chivalrous thing and cuts across the chicane to avoid the contact. That is a piece of driving from Arias Imantas right there. If you didn't realize what he did, he was about to hit Timo and steered hard right to avoid him across the chicane. So a hat tip to Arias for that. But I am going to say that Josh is making inroads. He's now he's bringing the gap down little by little with about 7 minutes to go in this race, as now Timo gets caught up in traffic. And there's a flash of Josh Malin coming through, and Timo gets caught up behind the traffic. Gap is down to 2.9 seconds. I tell you what, it's not over. Timo can't relax yet, because Josh is bringing the gap down at about a second a lap, and it's now going to be a case of whether Josh is able to get through the traffic safely. Timo got caught up there in that traffic, and I think Josh is also now getting caught up in the traffic in the mid part of the lap. Yeah, he is, and the gap goes out to 3.5. So that just shows you it's yo-yoing through there. So that's come back to help Timo. You can see Josh gained a second in the middle sector, but now he's also lost a second, so it goes back to what it was at the start of the lap. So that just shows you how much difference traffic can make in a race like this. 54 minutes gone, 6 minutes to go in this race. There's about 5-6 laps left to go, so still plenty that can happen. So Josh with a 0.3 of a second gain overall that lap, and Oscar just sitting behind on a 37.5 just here. So Oscar still, I think, will be happy to recover to a third place, but I think he was very unlucky to get caught up in the accident involving Timo Hayden. They were so close, battling all the way through the race from the beginning. But talking of battles, Ponomarenko, Staskevicius, Adas has caught up to him. So GT3 is gonna go to the flag between these two. Great job by Adas Staskevicius to catch up to the back of Vladimir Ponomarenko. Ponomarenko made the overcut work, but now Staskevicius has made life hard for him. Now he looks up the inside through Alboreto, can't find the space though, and this is going to go right to the flag, I reckon, between the two GT3s who've been inseparable the whole race, and the battle for third rages on in GT3 as well. Timo's going to catch up to them at the same time, and he should get through before Alboreto here. It's going to be very tricky. He flashes the lights, he lets them know he's coming through, and Timo, will he get through past Dennis in the middle of the corner? He just about does, and they get through safely, as Josh now, I think, has maybe resigned himself to P2 as the gap remains the same, just under 4 seconds at the front of the field. 36.3 for Timo, 36.5 for Josh. So now it's all back to plain sailing for Timo Hayden, but now it's back to the battle for the lead in GT3. Ponomarenko versus Staskevicius. Two drivers with a potential debut win or inaugural win in the Digital Motorsports Championship. They'd never won in this championship. Let's see if they can pull it off this week. They've fought it out the whole way through in the class of their own, within their own class, 23 seconds up from the next car, which is Dennis Hanley. So really, really good job. These two have been really in a league of their own throughout this race. So let's see. Staskivisis was the pole position man. Ponomarenko starting 3 positions lower than where he is right now. He's done a good job to work his way up to the lead. But these guys continuing to fight. Look how these guys are racing so well for 3rd place. Hanley, Thingard, Moore, who have been absolutely stuck together for the whole race. And Thingard's got the run on Dennis Hanley up to Ascari, but now there's going to be some LMP2s are going to try and make their way through at the same time. And off the road, Dennis Hanley. Off the road in Ascari. And what was a great battle now, unfortunately, ends in tears for him. And he ends up off in the gravel trap at Ascari. Let's see what happened to Dennis Hanley. He got a helping hand, a little nudge from Thingard. And that is the cruel way that Dennis Hanley ends up in the gravel trap and in the wall as well. Thingard just tapping him slightly on the brakes. And that is how it ended for him. But now it's all just Thingard versus Moore for the podium. And let's see if Rob can make himself a nuisance. Here he comes in the tow with the run. Up to the inside he goes. While that's happening, Staskivisis and Ponomarenko also side by side. He gets through. Moore up to 3rd. Ponomarenko is also just held on for the lead as well. There's 2 minutes to go, but lovely. Thingard on the exit off the chicane, and he makes it stick this time. While Dennis Hanley now going to lose a place to Keith Stewart. To make matters worse, P6 for Keith now. And Luca is still hanging on to a podium in 3rd place in GT3. 2 minutes to go. So it's all going to be about when do the LMP2s cross the line to begin the next lap. There could be 2 laps or maybe even 1 lap to go when we cross the line next time. I think it's going to be 1 lap to go by the looks of it when we cross the line this time by. It's a 1 minute 30 lap for the LMP2s. So this will be, by the looks of it, their final lap. And Kundelis did not make it on fuel. He's had to pit again and come through. So Timo's got 1 more lap to get his way through. He's just passed the GT3 leaders, which means that is their final lap. And Staskivisis GT3s. Staskivisis and Ponomarenko are side by side over the start-finish line as they go begin the final lap at Monza. It's a battle to the line between these two. Ponomarenko with half a nose in front as they come down towards the first corner. Staskivicius has got the inside return. There's contact between them. Into the braking zone they go. Ponomarenko is outside for the first chicane. He leaves him space. Staskivicius got the run on the outside. And they're still side by side. Josh Malin makes his way through 3 wide between those two. And Mangan's caught up to Malin at the same time in that one. Look at that from Oscar Mangan. What a drive from Oscar. But we'll keep our eyes on the GT3 battle as they come up to the next chicane for the final time. It's Staskivisis to the outside. He can't quite find the space. He looks to the inside this time. Ponomarenko closes it off though. This has been a sublime battle between these two the whole way through this race. All the way. Alex Dunn is unfortunately now completely out of the race. I think he's DNF completely. But Staskivicius versus Ponomarenko for the win in GT3. The final lap. The timer ticks to 0 as they come now down towards the Ascari chicane for the final time. This has been an unbelievable battle, but this is not over until they get to the final corner. Look at Mangan and Malin. Unbelievably, Oscar Mangan has caught him in towards the final corner they'll come. And it is now, what an incredible drive from Oscar Mangan as they come up towards the final corner. Curver Alboreto, does Mangan go for it? We're keeping around the GT3 battle in the background as well. Look at that as they come up towards the final corner. They're side by side in GT3 for the win in that one as well. We'll keep our eyes on this for the moment across the line. Timo Hayden goes back to back here in Monza. He wins in LMP2. Look at this for the GT3 win. It's Staskivicius and Ponomarenko to the line. It's Staskivicius on the outside, Ponomarenko on the inside. They are neck and neck to the line. Who's going to get there first? It's for the win in GT3. He squeezes him. Ponomarenko, it's Staskivicius by 1,000th across the line. What a finish in GT3. Ada Staskivicius wins it by 1,000th of a second here at Monza across the start-finish line. Josh Malin holds off Oscar Mangan for second. Have a look at that across the line. Malin hangs off Oscar Mangan. And that was an incredible finish in GT3. A hat tip to both drivers. Staskevicius wins by 1,000 on the line at Monza in GT3. What a recovery from Oscar Mangan as well to get back onto the third step of the podium here in Monza. But Timo Hayden, what can you say about him? He's gone back-to-back here in Digital-Motorsports. And Staskevicius takes his first ever win in this championship as well. But what a superb display from everybody here in this championship. And I'm looking forward to seeing the replay of that finish and the others as well. That was just superb as they came across the line, and they gave each other enough respect and enough room to make it work in that one as well. So a hat tip to all the drivers today, and a particular hat tip to Arias Simantas, who's managed to finish the race despite having an LMP2, having his car to get himself airborne across the curbs at Ascari. That is one of the best finishes in this championship so far and across all championships that we've held. So really, really sublime effort from everybody there. I need a break for a second. Niall is back with me. Niall, what do you think of that?
Jack, I don't know how you do this week in, week out. Like, it just keeps getting more and more crazy every week. 1/10 of a second over the line. You couldn't even stop for a breath through that whole race. It's 60 minutes. Hats off to you, sir. That is unbelievable racing. It just keeps getting better and better. And I'm here with Ronan. We're up in DMS HQ. And I'm just looking at the setup here. I might pop it up on Instagram or Facebook later on, Jack. But we really have, let me count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screens up in front of us. It's like proper race control here. We got our work cut out from the stewarding side. But awesome race. And again, Niall's predictions land the curses, Jack.
Yeah, well, you know who to blame. It's all him. I'll just run through the race results very quickly. Timo Hayden at the front. 6.8 seconds he won by Josh Malin in front of Oscar Mangan by less than a tenth. Well, just over a tenth of a second. Jordan Kelly, Brian McManus, Harley Sitautis, Dave Maguire, Peter McCann, Adam Dowling, Arturas Kundalis, Tony Stark, Arias Simantas, and Alex Dunn. And then there it is, Ada Staskevicius by 1,000th of a second in front of Vladimir Ponomarenko and Luka Thingard. What a battle those guys had. He hangs on for a podium. Rob Moore finishes 4th. Then Wayne Douglas, Keith Stewart, unfortunately Dennis Hanley down the order there. Neil Ferrier and Kevin Shine, Eden Frzina, Shane Connolly, Ian Malone, then Alec Vortniak, John McDonald, Sergey Grabin, Stuart Brereton, then Andrew Chorosteski, Max Hart down in 31st. He was the last, I believe, classified car in this race. But I think that might be the closest finish we've ever had, Niall, hands down.
Has to be. I'm trying to think back through all the races we've done, Jack. Has there been? We have had some close ones. And there's something in my head saying we have had one, but not that close. But I don't think it's I think we'll have to look through all the motorsport archives to find a finish like that. But Monza didn't let us down. Fantastic track. And hats off to all the drivers because it was clean, it was fair, it was hard at times, but it's just unbelievable. And let's see if we can get a few drivers in for some interviews while they're getting back around to pits at this stage. But yeah, definitely the closest one. I can't think of one anyway, Jack.
Absolutely. Well, on the topic of drivers, we have got our race winner, our double victor now, a two-time race winner in this. Timo Hayden joins us in the commentary box. Timo, fantastic victory in the end, but certainly didn't look like the easiest. A couple of contacts, a couple of near spins, but managed to hang on.
Thanks. Firstly, secondly, I want to apologize to Oscar. I'm very happy that he got back to the podium, but it wasn't my intention that he. I guess I couldn't watch it, but he crashed into me when the GTE spun me a little bit, and I think he got a little bit more damage than me on this. That's really sorry from my side. I thought the GT was rejoining on the track after the apex when he braked too late by himself. Yeah, I'm happy about the result, of course, but I'm not happy about the race progress. That wasn't the best race for me. Yeah, I have to rewatch all the things which happened, like the thing with Alex, which I guess was still a hard fight. Was both of us. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Anything else? Could be better, but yeah, I'm happy about the result at the end.
Yeah, it could be better, but you still got the win, so we'll take that. But it certainly looked quite tricky out there. We just saw the replay of the incident with Alex, which is a bit unfortunate, but it certainly looked like getting through the traffic was really tricky at times, especially when you're battle with another car. And I think that was I suppose what led to the accident with Alex. But it looked tricky to get past the GT3s today.
Yeah, it's tricky as always on this track. Additionally, with all of these GT cars, that's much more than, for example, in the IMSA series. But it's manageable. I also as always, I have the same strategy at Monza, but the strategy didn't work as I wanted. To let Oscar run in the first time and then pass him when the GT cars came, because then if you're in the front of another LMP car, you have the choice when and how you overtake the other GT cars. But I couldn't drive away then from Oscar, so I let him pass again to save fuel furthermore. But yeah, also in the middle of the race, the GT cars, sometimes I thought, are they letting you by or not? It was a bit tricky this time, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And well, the next round we've got is Circuit of the Americas, which I think is a track we've never gone to in this championship. So, what are you thinking about Circuit of the Americas?
It's a great track. Everyone hates it. But that's what you hear each time. But at the end, in the LMP car, for me, it's a track with a great flow. I hope the GT cars also likes it, because LMP cars tend to dive a bit more on this track than on others. I try to avoid it, but yeah. At the end, for me, it's a really nice track with a good flow. High-speed track with the setup. It's very funny through the first sector there.
Absolutely, we look forward to it. Well, Timo, thanks for joining us, and congratulations on your victory today, and we'll see you in America.
Thank you. See you there.
See ya. Timo Hayden there joining us, and well, I'm going to pop over to Niall, who's having a chat with Alex Dunn now.
Hey, Alex, are you there?
How are you?
Great. Talk us through that race from your perspective. You seem to have a lot of good battles out there, and great result in the end.
I mean, it was a bit of a tricky race. I made a mistake at the start, which gave me a slowdown, which let the drivers get away, and then it was pretty much damage limitation from then on in. I knew that once the traffic came, everything would get interesting again, and I think before the traffic came, I was like 6-7 seconds behind, and then after that, everything kicked off, and I managed to get into the lead. There was a bit of an incident with Timo, but I think we got sandwiched between a GT3, so it was more of a racing incident. And then I think I was leading by 3 seconds or so, and going into the second chicane, I locked the rears and spun round, and then the race was pretty much over from there.
Talk us through the pit stops were a big moment for you as well, Alex. So had you a strategy in mind, or were you just flat out until you needed to pit?
Well, I was flat out to try and catch back up, and then when I got into the slipstream of the other guys, I started saving a lot of fuel. I gained quite a lot of time in the pits, because I was able to put a lot less fuel than anybody else. But in the end, I think I only jumped Timo by 3 or 4 tenths, so it wasn't enough to break the slipstream.
Yeah, well, great race all around. Tell us a little bit what's going on. How did the sim world? You've been very active in your own racing career. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, the rear racing side of things has been going really well recently. We finished from Hockenheim where I got a double pole. So yeah, I'm really enjoying rear racing at the moment in F4 with US Racing. And then we're heading to Nürburgring in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, that's great. You were disappointing not to get onto the podium. 2-4 place, I believe, but I'm sure you'll be looking to put that right. And anyone who'd like to give a shout out to, Alex, before I let you go, in terms of your sponsors or people who just support you along the way?
I'd like to thank obviously my mom, my dad, and all my sponsors: Harris, PDS, Artisan, all the people that support me on the real life side of things, and a massive thank you to everybody who made this championship possible as well.
Well, we're huge fans, and we've all our support as well, Alex. So thanks for joining us again tonight. Great race.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Right, so that was Alex Donna. Now,
No.
hopping in with me is Josh Malin, who finished just about P2 in the end right there. Josh, bit of a hectic one today, and hanging on by the skin of your teeth for a P2 in front of Oscar. Talk us through it.
Yeah, that final sort of couple of laps were squeaky bum time. Let's just say that was the traffic again. I just caught the wrong end of it during this race. So I mean, congrats to Timo and to Oscar driving a great race. He was both very quick and yeah, nearly had my back.
Absolutely. Well, we saw you attempt a lunge of the century down the inside.
Oh,
Didn't
God.
quite pay off.
Dear.
Has been replayed quite a number of times. But we applaud you for effort at the very least. But at the end there, was it a case of that you were starting to get marginal on the fuel, or was it just Oscar was on a mad one?
No, it was Oscar on a mad one. I had about sort of a lap and a half, 2 laps of fuel left. And again, I did just get really held up with the traffic on that last lap in particular. I think Oscar did get away with it quite lightly, especially in those last couple of laps. So that's why I probably dropped back quite considerably. But yeah, no, I'm quite happy with that race. Keeping up with, well, just about keeping up with Timo and Oscar, and they're both rapid. And considering I didn't actually have the time to practice, it's not been a bad result today.
Certainly not. And well, yeah, obviously, real life's been going quite well for you as well over in the Porsche Carrera Cup GB. So how have things been going there?
Yeah, they've not been going too bad. You know me, I'm always hard on myself, and the racing driver inside me is wanting those sort of podiums and good results, sort of race in, race out. But the truth of the matter is that's never going to come. That's not what motorsport is, and it never will be that way. So yeah, considering it's been my rookie season in Carrera Cup GB, it's, well, quite frankly, it's been magical to be a part of it and just fulfilling a childhood dream of racing in Carrera Cup. So yeah, I can certainly say that I've done that now and tick that off the bucket list.
Absolutely. Well, we'll let you go on a very to say a quick thank.
Sorry,
I believe I cut out. Sorry.
Yes, you did.
So yeah, before we let you off, Josh, is there anyone who'd like to give a quick thank you to before we let you go?
Yeah, no, I mean, thanks to Digital-Motorsports again for hosting a fantastic series. It's been great to be a part of. It's very challenging this final part of the season. So all I'm going to try and do is try and get the good results and bring it home. And thank you to my real world sponsors as well. Ashgood Porsche, Car Guys TV, and then also Scale Electric and Cotton's Accountants as well. So yeah.
Well, Josh, congratulations on the P2, and we'll see you at Circuit of the Americas, hopefully.
Lovely. Cheers, Jack. See you then.
See ya. And finally, let's drag in one of the GT3 guys with best finishes ever in this championship. Vladimir Ponomarenko is in with us. Vladimir, that was an incredible finish. You just missed out by 0.001 at the line. So what a great battle.
Yeah, indeed. I was actually quite surprised he could catch up because I was way quicker in the first stint. So I was like, yeah, 4 seconds should be enough. I'm good in the race. But yeah, in the end, it was quite interesting, and yeah, unfortunate to lose like that. But it was a great battle and great fun, and better than winning with a great lead.
Absolutely. Well, you made a call to stay out a little bit longer than ADAS in the end to trying to overcut strategy. So, obviously, sitting behind ADAS for a long time, you obviously did a lot of fuel saving there.
Yeah, indeed. I realized I'm like 2-3 tenths. I could go 2-3 tenths quicker. So I was like, yeah, okay. Instead of fighting, losing time, because Slipstream is very strong on this track, I'm gonna just save and just pit later. And it paid out. I had a 4-second gap, so it was all like planned and basically a race in my pocket. But yeah, then there was a bad regen from an LMP, so I lost a lot of time. And yeah, as soon as you're in Slipstream here, it's basically a direct fight.
Absolutely. Well, you certainly gave us a great fight all the way through at the end, even if it didn't go your way. But we go to Circuit of the Americas next time out. So how do you think the GT3 cars are going to go around there?
Yeah, it's quite a fun track. I think overtaking will be a bit easier for the LMPs because of the S's. They can just go around the outside, so it won't be as sketchy as like turn 1 Monza or something. But yeah, it's a triple screen VR track, so let's see how many guys here have single screens. But yeah, very fun indeed.
Brilliant. Well, Vladimir, before we let you go, is to say a quick thank you to or give a shout out to before we say goodbye.
Yeah, to my team and also to Timo who won today. So great result for Impulse, and yeah, also for the organizers for this great league. It's great fun so far.
Great. Well, Vladimir, congratulations on the P2, and we'll see you in a couple of days' time.
Thank you.
So that was Vladimir Ponomarenko. Definitely didn't sound too disappointed with that P2 in the end, but brilliant job by ADAS to get that strategy to work. And well, Timo,
it is the closest one, so that's officially the closest finish.
Officially the closest finished, yeah. But the question now that everyone's asking is, can anyone beat Timo Hayden? He's gone 2 from 2 in the championship so far. Arguably, Oscar got caught up in that accident earlier on with the damage, but he looks like a hard man to beat at the moment.
Yeah, he's definitely an LMP specialist, and you could tell just by the way he's talking there. He's very confident going into Circuit of the Americas as well. So it will be all up to Oscar Mangin. But last season we were asking the same question, who's going to be Oscar Mangin, and we have our answer. So race definitely on. I just can't wait for the for the next round of this. And the GT3s, what a, like, we say it time in and time out, Jack, but we call it the Pro-Am class, but really it is the class of the racing, because we just get some of the best battles all the way through that field. And it's something that we definitely need to promote and get more drivers involved in the Pro-Am side, because it's I'm just looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, there was a time when I couldn't qualify for the pros. Now I can't qualify for the Pro-Ams. I think I'm just going to have to set up some type of I don't know, gentleman racer league myself. And join into that. But it's super impressive. And once again, hats off to Ronan on the camera and doing the whole broadcast. Really quality tonight. It just keeps the whole broadcast and everything just keeps going up and up and up. So it's amazing. We say it week in, week out, that as long as the drivers show up, put the practice in, and give us this quality of racing, Digital Motorsports will keep putting the time and effort in to increase the standard of racing and the broadcast and the race control. So absolutely hats off to everyone for this broadcast again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure to be back, of course, and hopefully we'll have Kevin back next week as well. We send the best to him and the family. So from all of us here at Digital, thanks to Niall, thanks to Ronan, and thanks to everyone for tuning in to watch tonight with great viewership tonight. So let's keep it up. So from all of us here at Digital Motorsports, we'll see you at Circuit of the Americas very shortly. Thank you and good night.